All right, welcome back to the live SLC championship coverage on the Lacrosse Network. I'm Chris Marshall, joined by Samir Chaudhry, and this game pits two Division I powers in UC Santa Barbara against Arizona State University, and this one figures to be a real barn burner.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw UCSB win a double overtime game on Friday night against Grand Canyon University, one of the better games we've seen all season, and ASU took down Chapman by a score of 7-5 with an outstanding performance from their senior captain, Payson Clark. So we're taking a look at the SLC pregame matchup right now on the screen as these two teams line up. UCSB 13-5 overall, ASU 15-2, both very good records. UCSB with only one loss in the conference, and ASU with only one loss in the conference as well. ASU dropping one to Grand Canyon, and UCSB dropping one to Chapman. So two great teams that both these teams took losses to. And against their opponent, ASU holds the advantage 8-2 here. They took down UCSB in the semis last year. So be sure to watch out for ASU's high-powered attack. You can see 241 goals for and only 98 against. So ASU's having an outstanding season, currently nationally ranked at the number 3 spot, and they're looking to hold on to that.
Yeah, and it's definitely been a long time since Santa Barbara has come away with a victory when they're facing Arizona State. It looks like the last time they had a win was in 2007, Arizona State getting the best of them recently after a long run of success by Santa Barbara early on when they were winning national championships in the early 2000s.
And we have to watch out for Zach Handy here on the ASU Faceoff X. He's a fantastic player. We do have head ref John Biskowski mic'd up for this game, so be sure to check out. We're going to go to him a couple times.
Yeah, and Arizona State wearing some pretty snazzy new uniforms, ones that I haven't seen before. Look to be just about the same kit that Chapman rolled out this season with the kind of graphics on the sleeves and a little bit lighter shade, but pretty sweet, if I say so myself. And here's Denis, one of those the big young players for the Sun Devils, who had a couple of really big late goals in that semifinal matchup with Chapman. And I think this is a better matchup for Arizona State than Grand Canyon would. Grand Canyon beating the Sun Devils in their last regular season game. To get inside, there's the shot and the goal, and just like that, Payson Clark puts the Sun Devils on top just 46 seconds into the game. What a finish by the senior captain.
Yeah, and Payson Clark, that's why he's been one of our players to watch throughout these SLC Game of the Weeks and the SLC tournament. He's just an unbelievable dodger, a great finisher. He can get you from really anywhere on the field, and right there with a very low angle opens up the scoring with 14-14 to go in this first quarter.
Really no holes in his game, and Handy again winning it to himself. And instead of going after it, it looks like a little bit of a change. I know that Chapman, Handy would win it to himself and then go after it, and Hap Knowles really putting an end to that. So a new strategy from the Faceoff X coming from Arizona State with a little over a minute gone in the first quarter.
And you see C.J. Jacobs on UCSB right there playing defense on Cooper Pakel. And this is what's dangerous for UCSB is having Jacobs play too much defense and play too much of this ball game. I mean, he had a very impressive showing against Grand Canyon, finishing the game with the overtime game winner. And they need him to be fresh for 60 minutes of this game.
That's right. I mean, 4 straight goals for Jacobs. Pretty impressive display as Denis gets in and looks across and finds Straker coming around the corner trying to take the shot, and a big save by Conrad Carlson, because that is Straker's bread and butter, coming around the corner as he opts to pull the ball out and find Nevitt. Nevitt looking cross field. Should be no problem right into the stick of a body. And I know that this has been something that has been a little bit of an issue for this Santa Barbara team, and getting especially high pressures. Jacobs able to get the ball from Nevitt and bring it across. We see Buca, one of the talented midfielders for Santa Barbara, getting the ball, moves it down to Morgan and over to Bowles, and back up into the offense as Walsh gets to Jacobs. And this is something you can get used to seeing, is they're going to move it around at least once before they do anything. In an open set right now in a circle, looking to see what they're going to set up in as they send 2 guys to the crease. And there's the shot coming from Buca just off the mark, but not a bad effort, as that's an angle he likes to shoot from.
Yeah, and check out this first midfield group for UC Santa Barbara, Buca, Jacobs, and Walsh, one of the better first midfield groups in the SLC. But after that, UCSB is not as deep as a lot of the other teams.
And that's a big-time hit coming across from Braun. It looks like, that was John Little coming across and land some lumber on Buca, able to knock him off the ball and disrupt that shot. And Arizona State gets the ball back on offense, and Denise still has it, trying to do a little trickeration on the field for the Sun Devils. 11:50 to go in the first quarter, 1-0 lead for Arizona State. And just a reminder to send us your tweets, comments, questions, anything you got to us either on the feed. This is a fully interactive broadcast, so send us your tweets at CMarshallTLN, or just go ahead and comment on the video feed. There's a big shot, another big save by Carlson, and Dan Davis picks up the garbage, finishes the goal on the doorstep, no doubt about it.
Dan Davis, a kid who really turned it on last year when he stepped in from Rockney Rep on that attack line, but Dan Davis, just talented attackman who's very opportunistic, so he'll put those away.
And that's something we've come to see from both of these teams, is their ability to finish around the crease in unsettled situations. I know Morgan is one of those guys for Santa Barbara who can really fill it up. Ball down, Handy again wins it to himself, picks up the ground ball. Nice move for Handy, and he's really got it going early. And almost picked up by Bowles, just misses it as Morgan gets in there and takes it, but Arizona State really pushing their weight around and keeping Santa Barbara off the ball as Connell gets it back from Anderson. Anderson looking a little better today than he did on Friday night. Had a little bit of a hitch in his step. Looked like he was cramping some, but looking like he's back to full strength now. And here comes Logan Quinn looking to initiate the offense. And Santa Barbara hasn't had a whole lot to do on the offensive end, down 2-0. But like we saw in the first game, Fullerton went up 2-0 on Concordia and then gave up 17 consecutive goals. So this game obviously far from over, just 10:38 to go in the first quarter.
Absolutely, and Santa Barbara is really going to have a long day if they can't win the battle at the faceoff X.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to get in a shootout with Arizona State, because that's a great chick coming across from a body, able to knock the ball to Straker's stick, which is no easy feat. And up to Nevin, and Nevin looks like he might want to take this one across himself. Has Buca, and that's the right move there. Instead of trying to take it across, definitely not the one they're looking for, and that's actually Tilbury. The 8 and the 9 there, kind of hard to see the difference, but Tilbury bringing that one across.
And Santa Barbara already using a lot more of their bench than we've seen in the past. That second midfield group coming out already with Perala and Kyle Seglin.
Yeah, and Lorimore as well. And Lorimore's a real good player who didn't have as big of an impact as I thought he probably could have in the Grand Canyon game. So I think they're looking to get him involved in the offense early and get him on the board and fired up, because, they're definitely going to need this second line to take a little bit of the heat off. And there's a nice lift from Denis to get that ball in. And the ball's still down. Looks like it's going to get picked up by Santa Barbara, but pushed and probably going to be, Biz calls just the out of bounds and not the push. And Denis has the lane, and he's all by himself, and he's got a world of speed. He's going to take the shot, and Carlson all over it. And right back into the break are the Gauchos with Max Berry getting on his horse, and he's got a world of speed too. Another one of those players that I like to talk about at D-Midi, who really does it in the clearing game as well as on the defensive side of the ball. A real talented defender.
Ryan Walsh checking in through the midfield here. See Jacobs also checking in, so a lot of these first-line guys are going to be, I think we're going to see a couple different combinations of midfield groups here. Coach Mike Allen's going to want to utilize all the players that he has on the bench.
Yeah, and definitely one of those situations where they want to try and get Jacobs off the field defensively to try and conserve some of his energy after that big game 2 days ago.
Sliding real early to Jacobs there.
And that's dangerous, because Jacobs is as good a feeder as he is a finisher. So he'll be looking inside, trying to find Morgan creeping over the side. Lorimore switches hands, tries to get the shot off. Solid defense from Cooper Piquel. Super athletic player, a high school All-American as a basketball player. And disrupted the pass a little bit was Little, and the ball goes out of bounds as Connell's going to bring it in for the Sun Devils. And it looked like the sun popped through the clouds, wanted to see what's going on in the game, and now back hiding behind the clouds. But hopefully he'll be back to see more of this action. And that's a hospital ball. Unbelievable catch. I can't believe he came down with that one. And right into it is Bender. And Davis down to Straker. 7:48 to go in the first quarter.
And as you see Arizona State on offense here, you see Payson Clark carrying the ball, and he's really been the offensive
nice look inside to Straker, and off the inside pipe. What a look. But picked up very quickly by Martinick, and Carlson having himself a fantastic game already. It could easily be 5-0 at this point.
And look at that feed by Payson Clark. I mean, again, he's our player to watch, and he's just so shifty back there, and he's such a good passer and finisher. So as we see Santa Barbara taking it in with Max Berry, I think one of the keys to the game here for Santa Barbara is for Conrad Carlson to be coming up with as many saves as he can, because Payson Clark in the ASU offense is looking to gun it at him.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he was really the big reason why, aside from Jacobs, that they won that game. Had a couple huge saves in the overtime periods to keep Grand Canyon out of this championship game. Nice look across, takes the shot, and there's a goal coming from Samuel, the freshman, to get Santa Barbara on the board and cut the lead to 1.
A great goal there by Samuel. They worked it around the offense, found the weak side of the defense, and Samuel had time and room to catch and rip. Took a nice low bouncer, just went straight by Preston Anderson.
And got a tweet coming in here from Matthew Muniz, who wants to know if Dan Davis's hair is the right amount of flow or is it overflow?
That's a good question. Dan Davis also wearing a CPXR, which what I think it really does is it really helps you on your
flow extension.
Yeah, flow extension there, because the back of the helmet really rides up a little bit further than the Pro 7 or the CPX.
So there's the answer. I mean, I think he's got it dialed in.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it looks great.
And a nice take, a little bit of a sloppy play on the face-off win from Handy, able to get the ball finally back in as Piquel brings it across. 6:16 to go in the first quarter, and Piquel working against Overholt, the junior.
Got a comment here on YouTube from Tate26. He says UCSB looks tired from the GCU game.
I believe it. And as for his and with the extra overtime period and more scoring, it's one of those situations where, since they don't have the depth, it's really something that could cost them today. But don't be mistaken about what happened in that Chapman game. That was a real dogfight, and it wasn't like ASU had an easy road at all. What a rip by Logan Quinn. A lot of juice on that one. Just off the mark. Wide, but a possession shot for Arizona State. 5:32 to go in the first. Here's Dan Davis coming around the corner. Opts to move it up to Piquel, and whoa, laser.
These guys are ripping right now, and Logan Quinn was relatively quiet in the last game, so I'm curious to see if we'll see some of his shaking and baking and putting it in the top corner.
Cooper Piquel cutting across, looking for Quinn. This is going to be no problem for Denis to get that ball, as no Santa Barbara players out to contest the ground ball. And again, working the hidden ball check. Denis still got it. Beats his man. Finds Clark inside, and no question about it, buries it for Clark. His second on the day, pushes the lead back to 2 at 3-1 at the 4:55 mark.
Payson Clark with already 2 goals out of ASU's 3, and I mean, you can't say enough about Payson Clark's play. He's everywhere. He's cutting on the crease. He's dodging. He's feeding. He can really do everything. There's a look at that SLC D1 trophy right there. That's what both these teams are playing for. One of them will be crowned the SLC D1 championship game after 3 more quarters.
And there's Hillier just shaking off Max Berry on that one with 4:45 to go, and another face-off win for Arizona State. Santa Barbara going 0 for, and one of those games that I always like to talk about is that Santa Barbara game where they got shut out by Michigan a few years ago when Michigan was still in the MCLA because they didn't win a single face-off. And if you don't win the face-off, it's hard to get offensive possessions. So they're definitely going to need to make the most of their offensive possessions to stay in this game because Zach Handy wins a lot. Dan Davis now working from GLE and doing a pretty good job trying to get the looks across as Martinick opts to pull it back out and finds Scarano. Scarano is a number that we didn't call much in the semifinal. And Dan Davis looking for the hit as the ball gets pushed back out, and that's a nice check there coming in to force the turnover from Arizona State. And Jacobs coming off the field looks like might have something in his eye, trying to get right. His trainer's taking a look at him over there. That would be bad news for the Gauchos if he is unable to come back into this game. Tilbury brings the ball up, finds Bowles. Bowles looking for Perella, and there's a flag down. So Santa Barbara would love to take advantage of this opportunity and get a shot on this free possession.
It looks like an offsides from the ASU attack. Payson Clark now on the defensive side of the ball, looking to double it and see if they can get this ball back and force the man up.
Perella coming across, still keeping his hands free, looking for Samuel. Samuel able to run it down up to Walsh and over to Buca. You have to think that Buca has the matchup they want to try and exploit. Martinick coming off an injury, and a pretty ambitious pass looking inside for Morgan and picked up by Connell. And it's going to be a penalty going against Arizona State. It's going to be offsides, 30-second technical going against Payson Clark, who's going to be sitting in the box as we get our first look at the extra man unit for Santa Barbara.
There's Biz telling everybody he's got the ball.
And 2:57 to go in the first. 4 goals only so far in this quarter. 3 for Arizona State. A nice skip pass looking for Samuel. Back up to Buca and over to Morgan. Trying to creep around that corner. Here comes Bowles. And wide open on the doorstep. Had a look, but couldn't find Lieber. As Morgan takes the rip and buries. Oh, sorry, on the outside of the goal. That one looked like it went in. Anderson right on top of it, though, gets it to Connell. 2:30 to go in the first. Connell looking to bring the ball up. Back to Anderson. Anderson able to get the ball in. That's Quinn. Quinn over the top. Finds Clark. And Clark pulls it back out up to Martinick. 2:13 to go in the first. And already on a little bit better pace than they were just 2 days ago against Chapman with 3 goals on pace for 12 on the game. I thought that game Chapman's defense played exceptionally well, holding this Arizona State team to only 7 goals. And that's the kind of performance you're going to need out of your defense if you're Santa Barbara and you want to win this game.
Absolutely. Back to that Santa Barbara man up. I thought they moved the ball very well. They had a lot of great looks, just not able to finish there. They need to capitalize on those man up.
And moving the ball very quickly. The Straker gets it, and what a trail check coming across the crease and gets it back to Carlson. But that one for sure saved a goal because Straker never misses from that close.
Got a tweet here from Contest Colin.
Checking in,
wondering, does ASU have the best looking helmets in the MCLA?
Close to it. I think they're sick.
Yeah, I think they have a great setup right now. They definitely, one of those teams in the MCLA that really operates like a varsity program, and it comes down to just the way they look, the way they travel, the way Chris Malone runs that program. He comes from a D1 background, and he likes to run his program like that. Yeah,
I'd love to see them in some matte grays. Some CPXRs. I think that would be pretty sweet to go with their new gray unis. I'm going to see Walsh looking to come from up top. 45 seconds to go in the quarter. Moves it to Buca, Samuel rather, and over to Bowles. Back to Samuel. Samuel has a skip to Jacobs, and Jacobs dangerous from there. And that one's off the top of the goal, off the pipe, and stays with Santa Barbara. But that's a very dangerous shot, and he is extremely dangerous from right there. They probably look to get it back to him as Buca drives in, and Jacobs driving back up top and then buries it. Buca, top shelf, stick side. What a finish to cut the lead back to 1 at the 25.8 mark in the first quarter.
look at that offense from Santa Barbara. I mean, that is incredible lacrosse offense right there. Swinging the ball around. Samuel kind of acting like a quarterback there, the freshman. He's just looking for whatever looks they can get, and they're cutting 2-3 guys at a time. It's really giving a tough time to that ASU defense. Jacobs with an awesome shot from up top. Doesn't go in, but Buca down the right alley finishes that one.
And 23 seconds to go. Another face-off win. The ball's still down. This would be a big pickup for Santa Barbara if they can get there. Looking for Connell. All over his backhand as Bowles gets to Anderson. Anderson back to Connell. And looking across to Little. As that's a pretty technical clear, looking good. And I think Little's just going to hold on to it for the last 3 seconds. Just fire it up and get it towards the goal. And hope some magic happens and that one goes in. But that's going to do it for 1 quarter of action. Real fantastic game so far. Arizona State on top 3-2. And definitely stay tuned for some more great live SLC championship action here on the Lacrosse Network. We'll be right back. And just about back to the action here. I'm Chris Marshall, joined by Samir Chaudhry. You're watching the live SLC Championship Division I final between Santa Barbara and Arizona State on the Lacrosse Network. Very happy to be here. Very happy to be able to bring you such an exciting game. And I think that both teams are pretty evenly matched at this point. Why don't we take a look at the players to watch?
Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at the players to watch. Both number 7 on both sides of the ball. CJ Jacobs, midfielder for Santa Barbara. We've already seen him do a great job on both offense and defense. He's a midfielder who plays both ways, an old school midfielder. He has a rocket of a shot, averaging 2.35 points per game. And then on the other side of the ball, Payson Clark already with two goals. I mean, not much to say about him, except he's an exceptional player, averaging 4.63 goals per game. And be sure to watch him the rest of this game. Have a phenomenal showing.
Yeah, and some, with the new rule changes, might call him a new school midfielder. Let's go over to Matt Holman and listen to what he has to say.
Guys, it's kind of windy down here. I don't know if you can hear me, but just checking in from the ASU huddle. Coach Malone encouraging his guys, run the sets, trust the system. You're going to get the looks. Just keep running the sets. Really emphasize that in that little break there.
And that's something you're going to get out of both coaches. They're very disciplined teams, very well-conditioned teams, and they have a system for a reason, and when they run it, it works. So Coach Malone just trying to just get that point across and make sure these kids know that the best way to get to where they want to go is to play the way they know how to play. And Denis trying to get in, now working on Jacobs. Nice switch coming inside. Denis fights through and then buries it top shelf. What a goal. What an individual effort coming from Denis, unassisted. Buries it top shelf right over the helmet of Carlson.
Is that the system that we were just talking about right there? I mean, I'm sure that set, I really liked what I saw there. They started out in a little bit of a wider set, brought everybody through the crease, overstacked one side, and gave Denis some room to operate. I mean, just like you said, both these teams very systematic. It's no question why they're both ranked in the top 10 in the nation. But Kyle Denis right there, fantastic individual effort, buries that.
And there's Handy winning it to himself, can't get the ground ball, and that's been a little bit of a problem for Handy. But still in there fighting and picked up by Hillier as Arizona State still on top when it comes to the faceoff X, holding on to that 2-goal lead, 13:48 to go in the first half. And Santa Barbara has got to figure something out. I don't know if it's going to be on the wing play or just making sure that Zach Handy doesn't go where they don't want him to. If you're just going to let him win and force him to go back and then let your wings at him, it's a tough call. He's so dominant at the faceoff X that it's tough to come up with a game plan that's going to be successful. Clark looking for the feed, able to get it, and that one just barely misses Clark's stick. See him moving with his head up always, trying to get the ball back in. Here comes Scarano. Back to Clark. Clark with the skip pass up top, and the big-time rip, and that one off of Walsh. That one's going to hurt in the morning, but Santa Barbara is back on the break. Here comes Herning as he gets the ball to Samuel, and Santa Barbara is back on offense. Bowles looking to get something going. This we just got another question from Matthew Muniz to see if we think Santa Barbara deserves to be in the championship game. Shouldn't it have been GCU? And it's good teams. Good teams win games, and I can't take anything away from them. They both played incredibly well, and if SB comes away with a victory, then they deserve to be here. But it's a shame that there had to be a loser in that game. Because both of those teams are very talented teams, and I hope that they get to see each other again in the national tournament. Nice coming around the side and gets the shot off, but not as much on it as he probably would have liked is Perala, and no problem for Anderson, who's been having himself quite the season after beating out Prop for the starting job. 11:56 to go. Still just a 2-goal lead for Arizona State. This game far from over. As Santa Barbara on the ride as Connell sends it back to Anderson. And looking up got Logan Quinn and over to Piquel, and that's what they need. They just walk it up until they see the look they want, not forcing the ball in. It's a much different style of play than we saw in the first game where Concordia just kind of fires it in and hopes for the best.
Got to give a shout out to East Coast Dyes tuning in. Greg from East Coast Dyes, always a pleasure to have you tuning in, and if you guys haven't checked out, there's some pretty exciting things going on with East Coast Dyes, so check out his YouTube channel and website, eastcoastdyes.com, for some exciting things going on in the East Coast mesh world.
Yeah, I know, and I know Greg still owes me a visit to the best coast over here after we had some opportunities to hang out back in Baltimore. And coming around the corner is Scarano, who gets the shot off, but takes a pretty big hit from Nevitt, but picked up by Dan Davis. And Denis looking to do some work on Jacobs. Jacobs an excellent individual defender. Nice look across, finds Piquel. Piquel gets one in the head. Biz says play on.
I like that.
Yeah.
This is playoff ball. This is a championship game. Let the boys play.
And it's always great to hear from Biz after he watches the broadcasts and sends tweets for anything that we have a question on, and he's always doing a really good job of explaining the rules to us. And what a take from Clark. That one again just off the mark, but his release is so quick that it's hard for anyone to get on his stick. 10:23 to go in the first half. Pretty quiet scoring so far in the second quarter. 2-goal lead for Arizona State at 4-2. And it looks like they're looking for Denis to push the issue here on offense, having a little less success working against Jacobs, as it appears that Santa Barbara has moved out of a zone we saw them playing in a little earlier in the quarter. Nice look inside, and that one just misses. That would have been one of the best goals of the tournament. You'd have to say.
Absolutely, yeah. And SB's got to be careful here. Again, Jacobs playing way too much defense right now.
And that might be part of the reason why they moved into a zone earlier in the quarter, to kind of give these guys a little bit of a rest, so they're not just chasing these guys around. And that has to be some of the strategy here, as Jacobs looking for the switch, but Denis going right at him, trying to tire him out a little bit, because it doesn't look like he's going straight for the offense. What a shot. And you see Logan Quinn dive out of the way of that one, and ball up and then handled. And we've got an open break here. Takes the shot, and that one just misses, but Morgan able to chase it down and beat Anderson out. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout for Arizona State, as Coach Malone wants to talk it over with these boys with 9:16 to go in the first half.
Just a reminder, guys, this broadcast is fully interactive. You can tweet at us, tweet at Chris at C Marshall TLN. Comment on the feed below, whatever you need to do to interact with us, ask us questions. Feel free to do so. And with just a couple of shout outs here to our viewers on YouTube. We have a question here from Jefferson Brown, who says, Malone does operate a top shelf program. What has to happen for them to get into the NCAA?
I think the real factor for them is other teams that want to go. I think Malone, has the experience and even some of the players to make that jump like Michigan did. It's just a matter of having other teams go. I think it makes sense to have a big West Coast conference with teams like USC, UCLA, Cal, Stanford, BYU, to make that jump, maybe put something together with Colorado and Colorado State. So, I think it's just a matter of having someone on the West Coast to play. And that's actually a situation that just happened recently, which is why GCU is in the MCLA now. All of their programs went from Division II NCAA to Division I, and they opted not to make the jump with them because there's no West Coast teams to play. And I think that's the real problem. And that kind of leads into another question we have coming into Twitter from Jake from State Farm. And he wants to know what we see in the future for Grand Canyon and possibly a national championship. And I think that they're automatically in my top 5 for 2014. And they've got a ton of young, talented players. And they're a very exciting team. I think if they can keep that core of players together next year, with Carson Barton being a senior and a lot of young exciting players like Farrell, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I was so impressed with them on Friday night against such a talented Gaucho team, able to play with them up until overtime, and anybody really could have taken that win. Mostly impressed with the fact that Grand Canyon, like you said, is a very young team. They really aren't graduating very many guys, and they're going to be bringing back the same core group.
And there's Lorimore, moves it. I think he had a decent look there, but that's the game. And then Buca loses the handle, but able to pick it back up. 8:56 to go in the first half. First half, yes. And looking to get something going, cut the lead back to 1, and get back into this ball game. Bowles working from X. It looks like they're shutting off Lorimore, or at least shutting off some of the adjacents. Interesting move. We see some pretty dynamic defensive moves from Coach Malone against Chapman. And Lorimore working out of the invert set as they get the ball to Walsh, and no problem for Anderson as he eats that up. And Tor Underwood says, "Go Devils!" live from Twitter. And also Dean chiming in with Minnesota has the best buckets in the MCLA.
Wow.
And he is absolutely right. Minnesota has those HGI matte maroon helmets with the gold metallic masks that we saw from Oregon State a couple years ago. And that was really awesome helmets. So good call, Dean. Thanks for that.
And we're going to check back in with Matt Holman right now, see what he has to say.
Guys, just checking in real quick. Santa Barbara timeout. Coach Allen really stressing his slide packages. I guess they're having an issue with some backside help. So the focus of that huddle, slide packages, little backside help, passing off, and just communicating really in general. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Matt. And that's textbook defense from Iwanich on the edge there, letting him come down the lane, but not letting him turn back, really riding the hip. And if you're a short stick looking to improve your defense, that's exactly how you want to do it. As Jacobs comes back into the game, working on Hillier, the shorty, and this is the matchup they want going into that ISO 1-4 set that we've seen a lot of these players take on as Buca comes up top. Nice check from Hillier. Get Buca looking for the shot, takes the rip, and that one off the inside pipe on the top and off the helmet of Anderson and not going into the goal. Well, that's a huge break for Arizona State, and they're back on the fast break as Hillier brings it in, looking inside, and what a play by Nevitt, able to knock that ball out. Solid ride from Arizona State, and a heads-up play gets it moving back to Cooney, and Cooney's on offense for Santa Barbara, and that was an extremely exciting sequence for both of these squads, as Santa Barbara opting to slow it down a little bit and get their offensive unit back on the field.
Absolutely. What an exciting up and down sequence right there. Buca just launched that thing. I thought that was going top corner, just an unlucky pipe for him. And then back down the other way, ASU had a golden opportunity to put one in the back of the net. See what Jacobs can do here with the UCSB offenses. They've had quite a bit of possession time here.
Yeah, definitely improved possession time, and a big shot by Walsh and a huge save by Anderson as he able to get that out, and Connell able to pick up the ground ball, and they're going back into their settled clear. Denis open, but taking and over the head of Hillier. The wind, really windy here, might have caught that ball a little bit up and pushed it over the head of Hillier. But either way you look at it, going to be Santa Barbara's ball as they bring it back into the offense, and getting a lot of really good tweets coming in from the interweb. So definitely keep them coming. We'll be sure to get to those during the next break. But I really appreciate all of your interaction. It makes the broadcast better for us as well as for everyone listening at home. So we love to hear your feedback on what's going on. There's the shot. Hillier with the trail check. Biz says play on. What a ground ball. And a flip from Morgan, who's so good at that. And opts to pull it back out is Samuel. And see if they can get this moving again. Takes the shot. And Anderson has been standing on his head so far in the second quarter, really controlling the defense, making some seriously big saves for Arizona State, keeping them on top 4-2. Hillier gets the ball from Denis. Denis wants it back, and he's going to get it. 4:53 to go in the half, able to run down the ground ball, and Denis now has the pole. As you see, Jacobs make his way to the sideline and get some much-needed rest because he's been playing a lot. And expect to see Arizona State try and get the matchup on Jacobs every time he is caught on defense to try and wear him out as much as possible. Quinn with the ball. Moves it to Scarano. Back in, nice look across, looking for Clark, and you can't stress enough how important it is been for Santa Barbara to keep those sticks in the passing lanes. They've broken up a number of passes, and that's been how they've been able to get the ball back on the offensive side of the field, and that's been huge for them because you get Clark the ball inside like that, and he's going to bury it 9 out of 10 times. Thinking about taking the shot, has Jacobs inside, opts to pull it over to Bulls. It's to Perala. Perala not being able to get inside very well. Arizona State doing a really good job individually on the defensive side, both from their poles and their shorties. Siegler, the sophomore, coming back through the midfield as they want to get Walsh on and get another look from this first line of midfielders. Perella moving the ball back down to Samuel and over to Bowles. Morgan been pretty quiet as Connell's been on him like white on rice.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
On him like something on something else.
Yep.
That's for sure. As Walsh gets his hands free, takes the shot and buries it. No question about that. Top shelf, and he's fired up. The lead is 1.
Great goal by Walsh. This first midfield group by Santa Barbara is some of the best midfielders in the nation, and they show why just right there. Jacobs, Walsh, those guys can ball, so watch out for them. I mean, they just have to figure out how to conserve their energy throughout the game. They don't get too many breaks.
Yeah, definitely. And a couple more tweets. Charlie Jocelyn chiming in about Arizona making the jump, and she thinks the issue for them is money. Michigan had big support from boosters, and ASU isn't on that level yet. And I think there's a fair amount of money coming in there. I mean, I tend to agree with you to a certain extent, but I think if it was floated out there, that there'd be some money there, especially with the Pac-12 network around as well, with some of those broadcasts on the line. But thanks for chiming in. I really appreciate your interaction there, and definitely a really good point when it comes to that, because it is very expensive to run a program like that.
There's Quinn. He's got a pull on him, and he's one of the better dodgers in here. And already seeing a little bit more of this Santa Barbara bench there, as we saw Matt Hemming, the freshman LSM, out there playing defense. And let's see if we can check in with the refs right now real quick. See what Biz has to say.
You got to put it over here, Coach.
Refs doing some stick checks right now at the break. checking the length of the stick and some of the new rules here.
Yep.
And definitely, there's a few more tweets coming in that I'd like to get
All ball good on
to.
this?
This one coming from Adrian in Vila. Does ASU have a realistic chance of winning the national championship?
Absolutely. I mean, going in possibly as the number 3 seed, they definitely have a chance. I mean, they
Started the season at number 2 in the poll.
They haven't played Colorado, and have they played Colorado State?
I don't know the answer to that. But they've played pretty much other teams straight up, and they're beating Santa Barbara, who played both of those teams straight up. They beat Chapman, who was within a goal in an overtime game of both of them. So I think they just need to get there, and I think that there's 6 or 8 teams that are going to the tournament that have a chance to win.
Yeah, and ASU only dropping 2 this year, 1 to Chapman by 1 and 1 to Grand Canyon by 1 as well. And you're going to lose some games in a season, I guess. But losing them by 1 to 2 very good teams.
Yes.
ASU definitely has an opportunity. They've played in the national championship game a couple times and haven't won yet, but they definitely are in contention for that title.
And another shout out to Contest Colin taking in the game, eating some very large pretzels.
Yep.
Which he likes. And that one just took a funny bounce, and Dan Davis couldn't find it, and it's Santa Barbara ball again coming out of the timeout. And Coach Malone cannot be happy about that. And then the ball overthrown. I think it's going to stay in, so we'll see who can get to it. And Samuel able to flip it back, and what a ground ball. And we're going to get a timeout by Coach Allen, and that is a fantastic play by Santa Barbara, able to get that ball back with 2 minutes and 11 seconds. They'd love to tie this game up.
Oh, absolutely. Tie this game up going into the half. I mean, that's huge for Santa Barbara. So we'll have to see what they can do here. And during this break, I'd love to take the opportunity to let you guys know that everything you see here today and for the entire SLC tournament and SLC Game of the Week is through the eyes of TVX Video. TVX Video has some awesome filming at affordable prices, so check out tvxvideo.com for more information on that. You can see the graphic on the screen right now. Can't really see the number, but you can see tvxvideo.com, so make sure to go out there, check it out, and find out how you can get yourself some of this great filming.
Yeah, and Ted is about as good as they come when it comes to lacrosse filming. I know I often watch some of the ESPN games, and I'm disappointed with the camera work because I'm so used to seeing what Ted does out there. So he's a really good cameraman and an even better guy. So also be on the lookout for the Backstage Pass Vine I just put up, and you can get yourself a look at Ted in action.
Yeah, Chris is big on the Vine. I'm not there yet, but if you guys check out Chris's Twitter, you can see some of those Vine videos. Is there a way to just check out your Vine also?
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully.
It's also new. It's also new. But happy to be doing it. Feel hip like the kids out there. So if you have any tips for helping me out with the Vine, let me know what you think I can do to make it better. We'd love to do anything we can to make the broadcast, any of the social media interactions better as we can. And just under 2 minutes to go now. Santa Barbara looking pretty comfortable in their set as Walsh has the shorty. Moves it to Buca and down to Morgan, who's working on Connell, who's been doing a very good job keeping on him. They've got the pull on Jacobs. Walsh might be the matchup they want to try and exploit here, as he's able to turn the corner, looking to get the shot. Nice trail check, able to keep it open. And there's Buca, takes the shot, and that one just off the mark, but a good look after a solid handle from Buca. And Santa Barbara is knocking on the door right now.
And Buca seems to be shooting high to high a lot today, and I'm not sure if they saw something in the scouting report, but Anderson's a big goalie. I would recommend shooting high to low.
Oh, unfortunate drop there for Morgan as Arizona State goes back on the break. Here comes Brash, and he's going to stay in on offense and see if he can get the ball back now with 66 seconds to go in the half. Really doing a good job right now. They'd love to get a goal here at the end, take some of that momentum into the half, and be back up 2 goals, which would match their largest lead of the game. Denis out has the shorty, and this has been a matchup they'd like to exploit here. Working on Buca, and Buca, solid defender, not not as good as Jacobs, but he's going to have a tall order in here trying to stop Denis, and Denis looks to move, finds Piquel. Piquel looking to get his hands free, nice double, and 24 seconds to go in the half. He's moved the ball back up to Straker, who's working in the invert, has the shorty. This is the matchup for them. As Straker coming across, nice spin by Walsh. Looked like he had him with the left there. Opts to roll it back out. 11 seconds to go. Straker trying to get his hands free with the left. Looks inside. Can't find anyone. Ball still down. 5, 4, 3.5 seconds, 2.5 seconds now as Santa Barbara able to run that down. Just gives it a ride, and that's going to do it for the first half as the horn sounds. And really exciting half of lacrosse, 4-3. Low-scoring game, real defensive battle. Both goalies, both defenses playing extremely well. What are some of the keys to the game looking forward to the second half?
I think looking forward to the second half, Santa Barbara has to do exactly what they were doing in the later half of that quarter, which was just operating an offense that was moving the ball quicker than Arizona State's defense could handle it. And they were swinging the ball around, getting very nice cuts, and getting awesome looks at the cage. Buca with a couple wide open shots. I think they have to start changing their planes of their shots. Whether it's high to low, low to high, they have to start changing their planes. Preston Anderson is a very good keeper, and to get by him, you're gonna have to get creative. Assisted goals, ball movement, and I think that's what Santa Barbara needs to do. On the Arizona State side, I think they're doing a great job, but get back into your flow offensively. Get it in the hands of Payson Clark and let him operate from X. Whether he's looking to feed or dodge to the cage, let Payson Clark be the quarterback of your offense.
Yeah, and a couple more tweets to get here. Nick Johnson coming in with Michigan was absolutely dominant, and that's true. I mean, they didn't lose any games for 2 years. And Arizona State's been playing well, too, and made 2 consecutive trips to the national championship, but definitely some real success on Michigan's side before they made that jump. Robin Siddell says the Devils are killing it in the first half. Thanks for tuning in. And John Pistoric says former ASU attack Pete Knoll really wants a shout-out. So there you go.
Pete Knoll.
Thanks for tuning in. Shout out.
I think I remember watching him in the national tournament and the national championship. I think he played on that team against Chapman, did he not? Where that was that big comeback.
The epic
Chapman?
comeback game. Yeah, that was a good game. I was actually watching that from the booth up there doing the stats for the Fox broadcast. And we also have another question. This one coming in from Yak and from Luciano Di Donatis, who's one of the players on GCU, wants to know how well represented you think they're going to be in the All-Conference. And do we have the All-Conference teams?
We had it for D2. We'll have to check in with SLC President Matt Holman and see if we can get it for D1. But they're announcing it today, so I'd love to check that out. We'll try and get to that in the second half here. But I can only imagine they're going to be pretty well represented, although the SLC D1 has some of the best players in the MCLA.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the 4 teams we've seen playing in the semifinals and in this tournament. GCU, you got Carson Barton, you got Farrell, who I think deserves to be an all-conference player. You got their keeper, I thought was great, some of their defensive players, and then Helmich, Rafter on Chapman, Timmy Andrews, Zervas. Like, how do you put together an all-conference team?
Yeah, you got Buca, Jacobs, and all the guys. Quinn and Clark. Yep. I mean, there's
Straker,
so many good
Cooper,
players. There's too many to list, and so I think you're absolutely going to have a first team nod for Barton. But I know some of these guys that these players are used to seeing every day in some of these senior leaders like Jacobs and Clark are going to get the benefit of the doubt on some of those all-conference nods. So I think they absolutely deserve to be in the conversation, and I'm interested to see what that's going to look like.
Absolutely.
And another question coming from OSC Peace Sign wants to know what the game day snack is.
Okay, so yeah, we saw Contest Collins' game day snack. He likes pretzels. He's kind of got me on the pretzel thing right now, but I was digging some of this jerky that we were having earlier before the game. I might say I like carrots and ranch.
Carrots and
Is
ranch.
That crazy?
Yeah, interesting move after going for the initial jerky.
Yeah.
Total 180 on us.
Yep.
I know I just started this new paleo diet, which is awful.
Yep.
And I had an apple and an egg white omelet so far for my pregame snack. So get excited about that. And I know Ted's got all sorts of delicious goodies, so that's another big added bonus when Ted comes out to the game. He's got a cooler full of delicious food, and he's willing to share. So be on the lookout for that stuff if you take him out to the games.
So we got a lot of comments coming in on YouTube, and it's halftime right now. Might as well talk.
Yeah, knock some of these out.
Talk to these viewers right now. So first of all, I wanted to acknowledge William Seglin. Obviously, I'm assuming he's a relative of Kyle from UCSB, but he says, so great to have games broadcast on the web for us East Coast viewers. Thanks, TLN. Keep up the excellent work, Samir and Chris.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll keep up that good work there. And then we have Degenheim chiming in saying, great channel, guys, watching from Norway.
Awesome.
So
I'm actually Norwegian, so that's good to hear. Let me know when I can get that tryout with the national team.
Yep. And then Siegel52 Alex, I'm assuming is Alex Siegel, but he's got a question. Predicting ASU wins this game, who do you see as your top 8 teams in order in Greenville?
If ASU wins this game, top 8 teams as I see it goes like this. You have CSU, obviously reigning national champions, undefeated season this year at number 1. I see CU going in at number 2. Only 2 losses on the season, and this last one was pretty close. Only 3 goals to CSU, so they're gonna come in at the number 2 seed. I see Arizona State as a 3 seed, and I think probably what's going to happen is Sonoma State, if they win the WCLL tournament, is going to get the 4, followed by Santa Barbara and BYU Chapman, and then Stanford.
Really?
Is how I see it.
Wow. Well, we'll have to check in and see if we can get an update on that WCLL D1 championship game with Sonoma State taking on Stanford. But WCLL D2, the Banana Slugs taking that championship game. Santa Cruz beating UNR, the Wolfpack, 9-6 at Novato High School. Good to see the championship coming back to the Cruz.
And then another question from Lars Peterson. What do you think the next team to make the jump to the NCAA will be? And I know that there's Richmond is the next team that's going to make the jump from the MCLA next season, as well as BU. But as far as the teams that haven't been announced yet, I mean, I've been knocking on Florida State's door for years about this, when it looked like they were really pushing it. And I know Arizona State and BYU have been in the conversation recently, more BYU. But I mean, I think it could be any one of those teams. I think it makes sense for a team like Arizona State to go right into the ACC and be able to play at such a big sports school. So it's hard to say, but it's the D1 lacrosse is growing by leaps and bounds, and I expect to see 10, 12 teams in the next 2 or 3 years make the jump.
How about Michigan? I mean, let's talk about them and them making the jump. They have not had as much success so far as some of the other teams. High Point, Marquette, able to come in and win some games. Michigan has been having a tough time, although I watched them against Colgate, and I thought they looked pretty impressive to me. But what's it going to take for them to really be a contender in D1 lacrosse?
It's taking them longer than I'd expected. I mean, you look at teams like Marquette and High Point that have had such success in their very first year. I was expecting Michigan to come out this season and do a little better. So I'm not sure what they need to do, because I know that they're getting some good recruits, especially from the West Coast. A lot of guys going out there to play, and I think it's just going to take one or 2 big recruits who end up being top level guys. Because John Paul is a good coach for the dominant seasons they had at the MCLA. So I think it's just a matter of getting the right mixture of players coming in there. I know a couple holdouts from MCLA still around.
Absolutely, and address a couple more questions. Marty Taffet tuning in, saying great job on the broadcast, guys. Huge asset to the league. And Marty Taffet is the defensive coordinator for the Colorado Buffaloes, who were the runner-up in the RMLC tournament, the number 2 ranked team in the nation. So great to see him tuning in. Question here from Jefferson Brown. Will TLN be broadcasting the MCLA National Tournament games? No, we will not. We'll not be broadcasting the games. Most likely some of us will be in Greenville checking out the games, but we'd love to get involved in broadcasting those games. Right now it's just the SLC, and this will conclude our MCLA coverage after the next 30 minutes.
And here's a question coming in from Kevin Carrick, and needs to ask apparently Payson Clark about the apple and egg white omelet. So maybe get some diet pointers from Payson Clark. So that's a nice little tidbit of information coming in. So thanks for that tweet. And a couple more questions. I mean, we've got one coming about what we think the odds that UC Santa Barbara has of winning a national championship.
I think it's going to be, I don't know. It's a tough thing to say. I like their style of play so much, and I think that guys like C.J. Jacobs and Dan Nevitt on the defensive side, Conrad Carlson, these guys are national level players. They're some of the best players in the MCLA. I just think when it comes to some of those teams like Colorado, who runs two midfield lines that are virtually the same in talent level, it's tough to compete with them.
Yeah, and same with Chapman as well.
Yeah, and Chapman as well. Two midfield lines that their second midfield line could be a very good starting midfield line on any other D1 team. And
I think the depth is really going to hurt Santa Barbara when they get there. You have to play, if you make it that far, you have to play 3 games in 4 days. And it's no easy feat, especially with the heat and the humidity that play a factor in Greenville. I know last year there were some storms as well, so you have to deal with rain and humidity or heat, and it's pretty unpredictable this time of year in the South in terms of the weather. So it's going to be a tall order, but like I said, they won back-to-back national championships, I think, in 04 and 05. So no stranger to going deep into the tournament. I think it's a matter of what their road looks like. If they get a couple favorable matchups early, then they can put themselves into position. I think the most important part is just getting to Greenville.
Absolutely, and as halftime concludes here and we're about to get back underway, let's check in with our players to watch. Just talked about Payson Clark, and apparently he's the guy to ask about the diet questions. But Payson Clark, he was very active in the beginning of the game, but has been fairly quiet since then. He had a couple of nice feeds, a couple of goals, and then we got C.J. Jacobs held scoreless so far, but a really integral role on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball for Santa Barbara.
This big ground ball for Handy, looking inside, finds Hillier. Hillier gets his hands free, looking to take the shot, and that one a big-time save. That one looked like it might have gone off the feet of Carlson and picked up by Santa Barbara. Cooney, the captain. And nice spin coming out for Santa Barbara as Abadi brings the ball in, and Santa Barbara back on the offensive end with 30 seconds gone in the second half.
Santa Barbara here with a good opportunity to tie the ball game up in the beginning of the third quarter, and that would be huge for momentum. If they can tie the game up right now, they're going to set the tone for the second half of this game and let ASU know that they came to win a championship today.
And that's what's so exciting about this tournament in particular, especially at the D1 level. You had 4 teams coming in, and it's hard to say any one of them is better than any of the other teams. They're so evenly matched, and you see that both of the games decided by a combined 3 goals, 1 in overtime. So and right now it's just a 1-goal deficit for Santa Barbara as Walsh trying to get free and playing fantastic defense again. Arizona State on the shorty side is owing it, and a nice lift keeps the ball, and Straker trying to pick it up. And here comes Santa Barbara again, and that's a heads-up play able to come across the field as Abadi with another big ground ball. That's 2 in a row for him.
Yeah, what a play there by Santa Barbara. A textbook lift there from Dan Nevitt, and a great play on the Santa Barbara defense to get it right back over to their offense.
And Buca trying to get through, getting a lot of heat from Hillier. I don't know, and finally the ball pops out of his stick, getting pretty ambitious, and that's going to be a hold going against Arizona State. Pretty close call there, going against Cruz. As Jacobs has the ball, trying to get his hands free, wants to take a shot, and you see Bowles wants it. Morgan going to take it inside, see if he can get something going. Finds Bowles in a good position, moves it back up to Buca. 12:48 to go in the third quarter. Buca coming around the corner, gets his hands free and buries the goal, and we have a tie game, 4-4, as Buca making it look easy on that one.
Absolutely, and you see Buca has really stepped up in this game. You saw Jacobs go right down that right alley. He's going to have a tough time getting his hands free all game. They know Jacobs' number. They know the kind of play he had on Friday night. Buca is the one who's going to have to step up, and he does just that, going down the right alley and bearing the rock to tie the ball game up.
And another win by Handy. I feel like if Handy stands up and just goes right into pushing the other player out of the face-off, there has to be some sort of interference or hold call coming, one of these times, because he's not making an attempt on the ball because he knows where it's going. As Piquel with a skip pass up to Quinn. Quinn looking to take a look, finds Denis. 12-15 in the game. Denis takes the shot off the inside pipe again, picked up by Straker, as Carlson just hugging that pipe, not letting any room for air in when it comes to playing the near post. Denis drops the ball and manages to pick it back up, and he's by his man, has a line, looking inside, finds Cooper Piquel for the shot, and what a handle by Clark coming around the corner, able to get it back up to Straker. Straker finds Piquel. Piquel has Quinn. Quinn on the shorty, looking to cut across into his left hand. Wants the shot, takes the shot, and just off the mark, but backed up, no problem, by Jackson Brown, the freshman.
Jackson Brown checking into the game. Has he been in the whole time?
No. This is the first I've seen him in this game. Not a whole lot of action for him yesterday as well. I know we have Trey Lanthier here doing some live updating to see. Have to ask him what his thoughts are on that. And another close to a big ground ball. There's a lot of shirts going after those ground balls, and that's something you see from both of these teams. They send the whole team to get those ground balls, but finally picked up by Quinn. 11 minutes to go in the third. Tie game at 4-4. As Denis tries to get by his man, looking to take the shot, does, and what a save by Carlson. That one had the far corner written all over it. And Carlson back up into the break, looking for his man, can't find him, wasn't looking, and heads up play to get back on the offensive side. The ball down, looks like Straker's going to be able to get to it. Nice check coming in, stumbles a little bit, is Nevitt, but able to regain composure and stick with Straker so he doesn't get an easy set.
That's unfortunate for Santa Barbara right there. Cole Bender, just the freshman, just didn't take a look back. He had a wide open shot at catching that clear and bringing the ball onto the offensive side. Now ASU has another opportunity here to take the lead.
And back into Brown, over to Straker. 10:13 to go in the third quarter. Time moving along pretty quickly without goals being scored here. Really turned into a defensive battle and gets it inside to Clark. Clark trying to get around, takes the shot, shoots and barely misses it, and then that one goes in, but he's going to be in the crease. Let's see what the call is from Biz.
Whistle had blown after the initial shot push. White ball out here.
And that is a tough break, but the whistle had blown before the ball went into the goal as Carlson out of the cage to get in Straker's face, and Arizona State gets no goal but maintains possession, and that could be huge later on in this game.
Arizona State operating out of a 2-2-2 set. I think they like this set because Straker and Payson Clark are such good dodgers from X. They want to have them both back there.
And there's Quinn moving to his left, looking for Piquel. Piquel using that body up to Denis. And Denis slows it down a little bit. But very dangerous looks inside for Arizona State, and they are threatening. Looking for Piquel, finds Clark. And back to Quinn, 9:20 to go in the third quarter, and looks like he might be calling his own number here. And you can see the sideline getting pretty fired up for Santa Barbara. And Quinn wants to go right at Herning, the freshman. And solid defense looking back for Denis and overthrows him. Ball's going to stay in as Clark able to run it down. Nevitt all over him. And flips it back to Piquel. 8:50 to go in the third, and really impressive play coming from both teams right here, especially Arizona State. And Max Berry able to get onto the field to play short stick defense on the personnel change as Logan Quinn comes out to take a break. Brown looking across, finds Piquel. Piquel with the shot, and that one off the stick again. Santa Barbara keeping their sticks in the passing lane. Denis getting away with a push off ball there. Right in front of the official. 8:22 to go in the third.
Great defense here from Santa Barbara. They've done a great job being able to contain this high-powered ASU offense. We're going to comment here on YouTube from David Kurtman, a former Santa Barbara defensive player. He's very impressed with the defense from his alma mater, and And what a defensive stand by Santa Barbara.
Get the 30-second shot clock, and then able to shut them out without even getting a shot that was really very close to the goal. So really impressive defensively for Santa Barbara to be able to do that to such a good team in Arizona State. And Walsh able to move it down to Morgan. 7:50 to go in the third. And this game is really exciting. I'm happy to be here bringing it to you guys. And now Walsh back up to Buca. Buca looking to get the ISO on Denis.
Jacobs is going to draw a pull every time he steps onto the field. So Buca and Walsh are definitely the Dodgers in this set.
And see if they can. I know Santa Barbara likes to go into that invert set sometimes and get things moving. And that one read like a book as it's picked off by Mendoza. And that's a big play for Arizona State to stop Santa Barbara from potentially taking the lead here. Connell bringing the ball up. 7 minutes to go in the third. Nice look across to Martinick. Martinick can't quite handle it, but gets the ground ball. Barry beats him back to the hole and almost gets one in the head as he rolls out and gets things going again for Arizona State as he finds Beecham. And subbing through the midfield, Arizona State rolling the ball back to the captain, Scarano, and over to Martinick, getting a good look at this second line of midfielders for Arizona State. Dan Davis back into the game, working with Clark and Brown. Nice help defense from Nevitt as Brown looking all the way across the crease in a very dangerous pass, lobbing it in there. It's a hospital ball. It's a good way to get laid out. And nice look across. Here comes Jacob on the break, and they're very dangerous in this look. See, comes across, finds Bowles, and Bowles pulls it back out, and they're going to go right back into their offense. Look for them to spin it at least once before they try and do anything offensively, as Arizona now has the numbers. But I might have liked to see Jacobs just take that one straight to the rack, get off the schneid here for this game.
Yeah, but he's got to be exhausted just playing, running back and forth, playing defense, offense. You see him getting off the field now, and as Santa Barbara brings in their second midfield group.
Lormore, and look for them to take a little bit of the air out of the ball here. Try and slow the game down. Give their players an opportunity to get a rest. They've been playing a lot of defense right now, and give an opportunity for those guys to get a little bit of a break, and especially Jacobs too, and the rest of those first line guys. And straight over the top, nice look inside. Almost got it to Samuel, but able to run the ball down is Bowles, and Santa Barbara's going to maintain possession. Here's Kyle Siegler moving the ball, and here's Lormore. Back over to Perala. And Santa Barbara, both teams, in fact, looking pretty solid. There's Perala able to get free, and Anderson staying tight on that pipe and able to stop the shot on another big save coming from Anderson. And this game very different from the game we covered this morning, with the complete destruction of Cal State Fullerton, and somehow Cooper Piquel gets free, gets overthrown by Anderson. Nice ground ball by Cooney, and Cooney's off to the races as he gets the ball in, working with a couple of pulls there, up to Bowles. Bowles pulls it out, has Max Berry, and they're going to sub Jacobs in through the midfield. See if they can get him back on. And it looks like they've got a pull on there, trying to match feet. Jacobs has a lot of room, and he buries that one. Laser beam. I hardly even saw that one leave his stick. Unbelievable shot to take the lead, and Jacobs is on the board.
How about that? CJ Jacobs comes through the midline, catches the ball, and really steps in. Well, just a couple steps from the box, and that was a rocket. I mean, he's got a lot of juice on that. Jacobs, that's why he's one of our players to watch. Just putting the team on his back right there.
Yeah, really, really fantastic shot. And if he gets going, it's going to be trouble for Arizona State. We got another question coming in. If GCU and ASU meet in the first round of the national tournament, would be the best first-round game ever, and I think it has potential to be. And Hillier loses his footing. The ball picked up by Santa Barbara. Looking inside, here's Morgan. Morgan working on a four-on-one there. Wisely pulls the ball out, and I think that might actually be a realistic matchup. I think if Grand Canyon gets the nod, they're going to come in at an 11 or 12 seed, and we'll get one of those top seeds. In the mix, probably a 4 or a 5 seed. And I think that they're definitely in line. And nice, and they're going to get a moving pick going against Santa Barbara. And that's a unfortunate mental error for Santa Barbara trying to get through. Sometimes they'll let you play on that one, but Biz calling it pretty tight right now.
And I got a question regarding the time left. We have 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the quarter right now, in the third quarter of play.
And Logan Quinn going to get the ball back. As Arizona State goes back into their offense. Again, 3:10 to go in the third, 5-4 Santa Barbara. Really turning this one into a complete dogfight. Clark goes inside, able to pull that one back out. Thought about tossing it over to Davis, pulls it back out to himself, looking for Denis, and then up to Quinn up top, working on the shorty Walsh. On a very dangerous Dodger, looking inside, finds Straker. Straker gets his hands free, looks and takes the shot, and what a save. Kick save by Carlson. And then a huge score by Cooper Piquel as he able to pick up the trash and bury it top shelf, and there's nothing you can do about it if you're Conrad Carlson and you're out of your home.
Yeah, if you're Conrad Carlson there, you got to be very upset with that, with your defense. You make an unbelievable save right on the doorstep. Your defense has to clear that crease. They have to get the ball out of there, because otherwise that can happen. And with an unsettled situation, Carlson can't really see where the ball's coming from. It's unpredictable, and that's going to go in the back of the net. Great job by Cooper Piquel to be opportunistic, pick it up, and bury the rock.
And Handy looking to go forward, trying to get the ball, and then ball still down. Two blue shirts there as Jacobs is getting in, and it's like Buca trying to get the ball. Ball still down. I mean, everyone and their mom in there in the scrum right now. Ball still down. Now 3 gray shirts in there trying to pull it away, and Dan Davis in there comes away with it. What a play from Dan Davis coming inside, the sophomore attackman. Huge play for Arizona State, as that would have been a big break for Santa Barbara to try and regain the lead after giving up a fantastic goal to Cooper Piquel.
Got another Santa Barbara alum tuning in, saying, from Alex Epstein, saying CJ never gets tired. Sure seems like that, right?
I'm tired watching him run around the field. I don't know how he does it. I mean, real throwback midi. I mean, I think that's where the game is going again. So it's pretty impressive to see him do what he does, and they come around. A nice take coming around the corner from Clark, able to run it down as Straker, but he's dangerous coming around that corner like that. There's a body all over Straker as he tries to get around the corner as well, but no such luck. Nice help defense from Nevitt, and he's got to get rid of the ball.
Wow, this Santa Barbara defense is ruthless today. I mean, they are all over these attackmen.
And here comes Denis trying to get his hands free, and he's not going anywhere either. Straight over the top looking for Piquel. Piquel takes the shot, and that one over the cage. It looked like Carlson had a pretty good line on it. 1:22 to go in the third. Game tied at 5. Dan Davis now with the ball. Moves it to Quinn, back up to Denis. And, we've been seeing a lot of runs from both first-line midfields. So, you have to think all these guys are tired. Logan Quinn takes the rip, and he's got a real cannon. You see some of those guys getting out of the way, and I wouldn't be mad at that. I don't want to take one of those anywhere.
Yeah, that thing was coming in hot.
And Dan Davis working on the pick, trying to get his hands free, moving back up to Denis, get a little bit of a head of steam, looking into Jacobs. Takes the rip and scores the goal. That one off the stick of Carlson, and that puts Arizona State back in the lead at 6-5 with 54.7 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Kyle Denis took that one sidearm, a little bit of lower three-quarter arm release there, and that was deep. He shot that close to the 25 up there. So a nice deep shot. And I don't think Carlson really could have tracked that one. It was tough to see. He used his defender a little bit as a screen. So Denis putting the Sun Devils back on top here.
And another question coming in from Lando Commando wants to know if Santa Barbara wins, where they would end up in the rankings. And I honestly think they'd just about flip-flop. One will come in at 3, one will come in at 5 or 6, probably 5. But either way, and there's Handy with the pick there. Takes a pretty good one in the face, but Hillary able to get the ball by. 37 seconds to go. Here's Clark coming inside, trying to score. Another huge save from Carlson, and then able to flip it back to himself. On that one is Bender.
Yeah.
And Bender moving the ball up the field. 25 seconds to go. This would be a huge opportunity for Santa Barbara to try and tie this game up going into the fourth quarter and steal a little bit of that momentum back from Arizona State. Bowles with the ball, 16 seconds to go. Has Morgan. Morgan looks like he wants to go ISO on Connell. Looking for the pick. Wanted to go back to Bowles. Gets it to Jacobs. 9 seconds to go. He's going to have to get something off here pretty quickly. Looking for Morgan. Morgan gets it. 4, 3, and no problem for Anderson. Not a whole lot on that one, and that's going to do it as he's looking to take a shot. And Carlson's not going to let that one go. Wouldn't have counted even if he hadn't gotten the stick on it. But through 3, Arizona State on top 6-5, and this is as advertised. Fantastic championship game here for the SLC Division I crown.
Right there, you see that trophy, and that'll be in the hands of one of these teams after 15 more minutes of action. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to the SLC Championship game live on the Lacrosse Network. I'm Chris Marshall, joined by Samir Chaudhry, and it's the fourth quarter. It's gut check time for both of these squads. Arizona State on top 6-5 after the huge goal from Denis. And one of the things we talked about, Denis been very clutch in this tournament. I was just talking to Trey Lanthier about Denis scoring the 7th goal in the 7-5 victory, a real dagger for Chapman. Now handy free. Looks like he wants to shoot it, gets it inside. Finds Dan Davis, and Arizona State wants to slow it down and see if they can extend their lead to 2 to match their largest of the game.
Yeah, we'll see what Arizona State can do here. They're in an open set right now. I think they're going to look to, have some nice long possessions and get some good quality shots on cage.
And definitely look for them to go right at C.J. Jacobs and try and wear him out at the end here. Looks like Martinick's going to get the matchup with Jacobs and going right at him. Moving the ball, but I think that's been part of the strategy for Coach Malone, and also Jacobs lines up with some of the better players and fights through the pick, and that one sneaks through 5-hole coming from Clark, and what a finish, putting the team on his back when they need to.
Yeah, Payson Clark again. We talked about how versatile he is right there, dodging up the right pipe and turning. Very well placed shot, has a lot of power on it. Puts it 5-hole on Conrad Carlson. I think Carlson saw it. I know he's upset about that one. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But Arizona State taking up a 2-goal lead here in the fourth.
And plenty of time still left as both teams have been had a lot of opportunities to score goals with 14 minutes, 8 seconds to go. But Santa Barbara, nice flip, no-look pass from Handy, knowing he has the double and that they have a 2-on-1. That's a real heads-up play. And fighting through the pick again, there's Dan Davis, and what a save by Carlson. And that's going to be in the crease going against ASU, and Max Berry's going to have the ball, and he's a real clearing machine for this Gaucho squad. Straker able to run him down. Back to Carlson, and he's got Jacobs. Opts not to do. There's a lot of gray shirts in the area. 13:39 to go. And
dangerous pass.
Pretty ambitious look coming across, and that's not what you need coming out of here. And there's Anderson able to move it to Connell and looking very, very comfortable. Gets to Hillier, and Hillier is going to be able to just run this one across. But if you're Santa Barbara, that's a mistake that you just can't make at this point in the game. Down 2 goals, 7-5 right now. The exact score that ended the semifinal game where Arizona beat Chapman. And defensively, you have to be happy to have Arizona State at only 7 goals at this point in the game. You just need to pick up the pace a little bit on offense.
Quick update here from Kevin Rowan about the WCLL D1 finals. Sonoma 4, Stanford 3 at the half.
Wow, real close game. I know Sonoma blew Stanford out earlier in the season, towards the end of the season a couple games ago. So Stanford hanging tough, trying to get that AQ from the WCLL. 12:30 to go in the game. Backing out now is Logan Quinn, who has Jacobs looking for Cooper Piquel, working on Barry. Gets his hands free, takes the shot, and that's a really good opportunity. Didn't get the shot out of his stick that he wanted, but possession shot for Arizona State. And you can hear the fans starting to get fired up here at Del Norte High School in San Diego. There's Cooper Piquel looking again over to Denis, and Denis working on Jacobs. Look for him to try and exploit that matchup with the shorty. You have Clark coming across, working that two-man game off the pick. Dangerously close to a moving pick from Straker as he's trying to roll off little Karl Malone.
What a check by Dan Nevitt there on Payson Clark.
And Straker back in to pick up the garbage, and that's something that we talked about early in the game. Straker and Morgan are both guys who can get those ground balls and are gritty players. And right now, Straker winning the battle with Morgan, and that making the difference in this game. 11:40 to go in the game. Dan Davis looking to move from X on Nevitt, takes the shot and scores the goal. And there's 2 quick ones at the beginning of the 4th quarter to put the Sun Devils on top by 3.
Dan Davis pushing the left pipe there and got his hands free, took a very well-placed shot, puts the Sun Devils up 3. And ASU has been on offense for the majority of this 4th quarter. And Santa Barbara, if they're going to want to stick in this game, they need to win a face-off. They need to get on the offensive side of the ball, and they have to start chipping away at this ASU lead. You see Coach Allen taking C.J. Jacobs off the wing there, putting in Ryan Walsh. I think that's a smart move. You're going to want to conserve his energy. And I think not only that, he's best when you sub him in through the midline. He's fresh. We saw him score a big goal like that before, so we'll have to see how Coach Allen utilizes C.J. Jacobs for the remainder of this game.
Got to go in heavy here on Handy, and he does, able to move the ball out of his stick. But if another fantastic ground ball coming from Handy, 11:19 to go in the game, and Straker's got a line. He might cut through and try and take this shot. Opts to move it out. Cooney letting him know he's following him. He's able to get that check in on the thigh, just missing the stick. Fortunate not to get a slash call there. Scarano with the ball. We're going to get a look at this second line midfield that's got to be pretty fresh. Scarano and Martinick coming in, and Quinn staying on from the first line. Scarano pushing the issue a little bit back to Martinick. Martinick working on Walsh. Looking again to go through that 2-man game with the pick. Moves it back to Scarano. Scarano rolling out. What a move. Takes the pass inside. Looking to find Straker, who takes the shot and misses just wide. But another really good opportunity for Arizona State. And you have to think that maybe Santa Barbara's got some dead legs that are finally catching up to them from that double overtime game on Friday night.
Yeah, and they've been playing a whole lot of defense this quarter. I mean, really, I don't think we've seen them on the offensive side of the ball yet.
Yeah, and the opportunities they have had have been thrown away on errant passes. So they need to do a better job of protecting the ball, and that's something we're not used to seeing from a Mike Allen coach team. As Quinn working from up top, under 10 minutes to go in the game now. Still a 3-goal lead, the largest of the game for either team in favor of Arizona State.
Another timer-on situation here for Arizona State. Oh, nice play.
And that's a fantastic stick coming across. That's Overholt, the junior. And that's something we've seen a lot of from Santa Barbara, getting their sticks in the passing lane and disrupting some of those skip passes that Arizona State is trying to pass. And there's a nice look, taking his time, not forcing it in, able to get it to Tilbury. 9:25 to go. And Santa Barbara has got to got to get something going on offense, get a nice long possession and give their defense a chance to rest and see if they can take one of these goals back as Jacobs back on with Walsh. And Buca is they want to give the first line guys an opportunity to take a run on offense. And I like what Mike Allen's doing, subbing out the second line guys so they can get the runs on defense and conserve some of the energy for the first line. As Buca gets his hands free, makes the look down to Bowles, over to Morgan. Morgan sees Jacobs up top. Jacobs back to Walsh. Walsh coming in, looking to take the shot over to Morgan. And back to Bowles, doing a very good job on the help defense right now as Arizona State not giving Santa Barbara much of anything in terms of a free passing lane. And there's Morgan, fires the shot, and that one's going to be run down by Bowles as Anderson thought he might be able to get there, but opts to pull it back into the cage.
Interesting note about Carl Tilbury, number 9 on Santa Barbara, the graduate student from Berkshire, England, playing MCLA ball. How about that?
Walsh looking to get in, gets a pretty good one. That looked like a slash to me. And coming across, here's Buca. Takes the look and takes the shot, and what a save by Anderson. And that's a big...
That's going to be interference, yeah.
It's going to be a push, and that's just a mental mistake there by John Little, the senior captain, something you don't expect to see out of him, giving the ball back.
Don't dig it deeper.
and Biz telling Anderson not to dig a deeper hole there.
He's definitely not afraid to throw the flag if you disagree with one of his calls. And one of the better officials out here too as well. I mean, we're always happy to have him out here. Always does a really good job of explaining the rules to us. Yeah, it sounded like it hit his helmet.
Yeah, you can hear it from here.
Oh, and there's a flag down, so you know it's coming. And
let's hear Biz here.
2-8/1.
Let's see what he has to say to the table here.
Player in white, number 28. The call is slashing. He'll serve 1 minute.
And this is a big opportunity for Santa Barbara with 7:41 to go. Still plenty of time for them to get back in this game. Just down 3 goals, and a goal here would be a real big one for Santa Barbara. And back into that open set, kind of just seeing what they're working with here in that circle. Have Jacobs and moving back through the middle is Bowles, and looking for some of those cutters inside. You know, looking for Lieber.
Dangerous pass.
Pretty ambitious. A lot of gray jerseys on the inside as Hillier trying to get free, looking for somebody to help, and throws that one over Anderson, but picked up by Connell. And Connell looking to move the ball up to Denis, and Denis right by Lieber. Wow, and that's a bad break for Santa Barbara. You know, Coach Allen can't be happy with that forced pass on the man-up opportunity. And Denis going to get the corner on Buca using those wheels. 6:58 to go in the game, and they might be able to run this penalty out, and that would be a huge blow to Santa Barbara, who doesn't seem to be able to get any pressure on the ball as Straker gets the ball now, and they're just going to be able to run this penalty out.
Kyle Denis, the 6'5", 190-pound sophomore from right here, San Diego, California, Scripps Ranch High School. He's impressed me a lot in this tournament. I mean, he's got a big body, but he's so fast, and he's great with his stick. So you definitely look for him in the national tournament to have some big plays.
And Denis pushed back out. No rush for Arizona State now. I mean, you have to think they might hold out and try and get another call. Nice look across to Straker. Straker takes a look and scores the goal, and that's 4. Up 4 for Arizona State. And you can see the fans starting to get fired up. They see a back-to-back championship in the books for Arizona State with 6:09 to go.
And there we're getting a look at Coach Malone and his coaching staff, one of the better coaching staffs in the MCLA. Coach Malone runs his program at a top-notch level, comes from a D1 background, and see right now he's keeping his composure and staying poised, but you have to think that he also is thinking back-to-back right now.
Yeah, and then another special shout-out coming from the Walsh family, who would like to say hello to their great friends Glenn Wells of the Red Sport Braves and his wife Karen. So definitely thanks for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the game.
Let's see if we can hear Biz if he has to say anything over here.
No, he was a wingy. He was a winger. He was a winger. He's okay.
Yeah, and you see a little bit of a miscommunication there by the official stopping the play, and that's a tough break for Santa Barbara. Now getting a free clear off of the face-off. Looked like he thought Cooper Piquel was an attackman coming up, defensive player coming up, and now Arizona State able to get a pretty good look off of that.
So Jefferson Brown actually chiming in on YouTube, letting us know that with Payson Clark's 3 goals in this game, he has 61 goals on the season, and the next best in the MCLA D1 has 53 goals. So Payson Clark really leading the nation right now.
Yeah, and that's really a testament to how good he is individually as a player, but he's well balanced as well. I mean, he's got quite a few assists, 20 on the year. So I mean, he's having a fantastic season. 5 minutes to go in the game. It might be time for Santa Barbara to look for the double. Dan Davis takes a good hit and holds on to the ball and able to get the shot off, but takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Yep, got a flag down. Let's see. Biz is on the far side of the field, so I don't know if we're going to hear too much out of him, but gotta think that was for the hit on Dan Davis.
Yeah. And then a couple more tweets coming in. Lars Peterson hopes to see me in Norway for national tryouts this June.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I'll have to see what I can do. I need to lose some weight here.
Well, the way you're going on your diet right now.
Right.
Yeah. Talk to Payson Clark.
Right. Yeah, we'll get this going. But love some more information about those tryouts. Looks like Payson Clark going to start with it. 4:50 to go in the game. Shout out to Lacrosse Wonka, who's also tuning in. Glad to see you watching.
Question here from Siegel52 Alex, wanting to know, when do the brackets come out?
I think
it's gotta be this week.
This
right?
week, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday is usually when the polls come out, so I think it's probably on Tuesday.
I mean, it's going to be pretty much set.
Holding the ball. Yeah, I think they're trying to kill some clock here.
And you have to think they're going to call this right now, and you can hear the ASU fans, SB fans, not happy about it. They have to make the call on the.
How are they not making a shot clock call here?
And let's see Biz talking to the guys, and they're just standing there, and that's something I haven't seen in a long time.
They killed that entire man up. They just were looking to kill clock there.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable that there was no shot clock called there. I mean, the fans not happy with that style of play. I mean, I
suppose that there's no reason to call. And what a shot by Danique. Great save by Carlson. They need to get the ball back up. Jacobs has the ball. And we saw Carson Barton score 3 goals in 90 seconds for Grand Canyon in the semis. Looking inside, what a save by Anderson on the doorstep. Says no to Morgan, and that's a shot that he doesn't miss very often. And here comes Bowles. Bowles has a one-on-one. Would have liked to have seen him spin back and maybe take a shot with the left, but rolls it back up to Jacobs, and Jacobs is going to have to start making some moves right now. 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, Jacobs, drawing the pull. He's only really been free one time, and that's when he scored that big goal from up top. Here's another opportunity for him.
Look inside for Morgan. Morgan can't quite corral it. 2:57 to go in the game. And, like I was saying with that I guess they're not going to call that on a man up, because there's no reason for them to get it. I mean, they have a 6-on-5 there, and I guess that's just not something that they're going to look to call as Buca coming across. And the only thing I've seen kind of like that was in a women's game earlier this season. And Morgan coming through, taking the rip, and that one almost sneaks in off the deflection. And the defense was playing in a zone, and there's no sort of shot clock or stall for women, so they just stood there and wasted 3 or 4 minutes just sitting. So it was pretty interesting to see that come to place. Jacobs with the shot, and that one off the inside pipe as well. What a take by Jacobs. He's so quick on that release and so much juice on the shot. And timeout as Coach Malone wants to talk it over with 2 minutes, 16 seconds to go, and a 4-goal lead.
Yeah, Jacobs right there. I mean, one thing that you notice about him is unbelievable his ability to turn his body. But right there, actually on the screen, I have to acknowledge Mike Allen giving an earful to the ref. You have to assume that that's about that man up. I mean, I cannot believe there was not a 30-second shot clock called on that. I mean, I think that's the reason why that rule was implemented.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sure we'll get an explanation from Biz on Twitter at some point.
Maybe we tune into the ref's huddle right now and see if they're talking about it.
Oh, yeah, he was one of the wingers.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I had eyes on the feet of the guys looking from this angle. None of those guys came forward.
It looks like they're just talking about that
one wing play.
That call.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm curious to hear. I'd love an explanation about that, to be honest. I mean, why was that not a stall call? Not only were they not going towards the cage, they didn't even pass the ball.
Yeah.
Logan Quaid had it in his stick, and it was very obvious they were making no moves towards the cage.
Yeah, and you have to think that has something to do with the fact that they're man up.
I guess so, yeah.
And with 2 minutes, 16 seconds to go, Arizona with a 4-goal lead. This is going to be a real tall order for Santa Barbara if they want to come back and win this game. But stranger things have happened. Like I said, Carson Barton with 3 goals in 90 seconds to end the game and send it to overtime last night for Grand Canyon. So, like I said, this game not over yet.
Okay, well, we just got an explanation here from Kevin Rowan saying that it's part of the rules that there's no stall calls on man up or man down.
And what a heads-up play by Coach Malone on that one. I mean, that's just great coaching. Thanks for the explanation there, Kevin. And looking for Jacobs, a little bit better pass that might have been suited better, but can't get it going. And now Jacobs probably just going to take this one himself and see if he can get his hands free, lowering his shoulder.
Great defense.
And then able to keep that in his stick, able to move it. And then there's Morgan, who's just been on the struggle. And there's going to be a push going against ASU. 1:46 to go. Look up top for Buca. Buca gets the quick double, takes the shot, no problem for Anderson. Anderson out on the break up to Hillier, and Hillier is off to the races. And Jacobs, takes the shot from Hillier, almost sneaks in. You see Carlson out of the cage, heads up shot by Hillier. Probably would have been better suited to just kind of hold on to that one for the last 90 seconds here, as what it looks like Straker's going to do. Got to put the double here as you see Carlson out of the goal, shutting off Clark, and Denis up top now with the ball, working on Walsh. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Takes the look and wants to take the shot, and let's see if Carlson's going to be able to beat him out, and he isn't. And you can hear the fans getting fired up, seeing the imminent end to this game where Arizona State is going to come away with the victory and back-to-back SLC Division I championships. Cooper Piquel, 45 seconds to go in the game, still 4-goal lead, and I think they're going to be able to run this one out with they've got the athletes on the field, and again throwing the ball
takes a shot
at the goal, and that's not something you expect to see in that sort of situation. With the goal wide open, but maybe trying to score a couple of extra goals here to see if they can affect the seeding for any of the voters that aren't watching this game live. And Quinn over to Denis, 26 seconds to go, and it looks like Santa Barbara is just going to kind of let this one run out. They know that they're going to make the trip to South Carolina. And that one going to be overthrown, 13 seconds to go, and saved. Nope, that one's going to be out of bounds. Cone on the field.
Over here.
9.8 seconds to go. And here's Samuel looking inside for Morgan. Can't quite find him. It's 4, 3, 2. Exactly 2 seconds left on the clock. And that's going to do it here in the SLC Championship. Arizona State coming away with their second championship in as many years, and you see them going to get the goalie, Anderson, who had himself a fantastic ball game today and was really the difference maker on the defensive end for Arizona State.
Absolutely, a really great showing from the Sun Devils today. And Santa Barbara played a hell of a game, though. They were there. They played them tight. It was definitely a better game than we saw last year, even though it was a similar score. But ASU with back-to-back championships here in the SLC, and I have to think that team is going to have a fantastic showing going to Greenville.
Yeah, and you're probably just going to have to chalk that up to lack of depth and a tough game. It just looked like Santa Barbara ran out of gas at the end of the game. They put themselves in a position to win, and they just didn't quite have the juice at the end of the game to stay with the depth that Arizona State has.
Absolutely, and definitely appreciate you guys all tuning in here. That concludes the SLC tournament. And what are your final thoughts on the tournament as a whole?
I couldn't be happier with the outcomes in the Division I tournament. I know there were a few blowouts in the Division II tournament, still some pretty good games, but I can't tell you how impressed I am with all 4 of the teams making the semifinals for Division I. I think they all deserve to be in South Carolina, and they're all pretty evenly matched. So it's exciting lacrosse, it's exciting for the league, and it's exciting for all these guys to be able to play a top-level conference schedule along with their out-of-conference games against their RMLC foes.
Absolutely. As you see both teams shaking hands, we're going to take a look at the trophy presentation here. See Arizona State be awarded the SLC trophy for the 2nd consecutive year in a row. Last year taking down Chapman, and this year taking down UC Santa Barbara for the SLC championship.
And you see President Matt Holman, League President Matt Holman, coming over here, going to be able to give the trophy to these Arizona State players. I think they're first going to recognize Santa Barbara, and you hear the fans letting these guys know. I mean, Santa Barbara had one heck of a tournament, with that exciting overtime game, and they need to hold their heads high. They're going to go into Greenville with a top 6 seed and still have an opportunity to make some noise. So just because they didn't win today doesn't mean they aren't going to win tomorrow.
Absolutely. Arizona State, a tough team to play in Greenville.
Absolutely. All of the SLC teams are going to be tough outs. You're going to get Chapman, you're going to get Arizona State, you're going to get Santa Barbara, and I think Grand Canyon. And this coming in from Jack Coyne, since ASU wins the SLC title, he thinks that will piggyback Grand Canyon into the tournament.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We'll see if that happens.
And so that also helps to answer the question coming in from Kevin Pham. And I think they deserve to be there. So I just hope they make the trip, and I'm excited to see all the SLC teams go to Greenville and taking the action. See if we can get something down for Matt Holman. Not sure if he's going to say some words.
Okay, thanks guys. We'll see you next weekend too. Chris.
You hear the kids, they are fired up. It's been a real big month and a half for Coach Malone coming away with a victory today. And also the proud new father of a 5-week-old baby boy. So things are going well for Coach Malone.
That's good. She's got it.
And that's just plain exciting. I mean, definitely thanks to everyone for tuning in to this whole weekend full of footage or full of action on the SLC tournament. All 6 games, some really instant classic games, and we were excited to bring you all the action this weekend, and can't wait to do it again sometime soon. Any final words on the tournament, Samir?
Yeah, I was very impressed with Arizona State's play. I mean, they didn't blow out any of the teams, but they were really on the grind all weekend long and all season long. Only 2 losses this game, but really did a great job of playing just their brand of lacrosse. And if they continue on playing that, we might see them in the national championship again.
Yeah, I know. Been there 2 times in the last 5 years. Haven't been able to get over the hump yet. But and I think part of the reason why there were no blowouts in the D1 is just the level of play that's out there. I mean, you have 4 legit top 10 teams in the SLC Division 1. And they're all playing pretty close, pretty evenly matched, and it's exciting for this season. It's going to be exciting for the future of the league, and it's going to be exciting to see these teams go out to South Carolina and see what they can do.
And there you get a closer look at the SLC Championship Trophy, and Payson Clark right there holding it, and he deserves it. Definitely what I would say is possibly the tournament MVP.
Yeah, he certainly put the team on his back when he needed to, and had a couple big games in the tournament to finish these teams off, and especially not just the points in total that he scored, but how big the goals were that he did score. And I really a clutch player and really playing well. And one last shout out here from Twitter, going to YAC. With a shout out for Luciana DiDonatis for all league, and he's definitely one of those top players on defense for Grand Canyon. So you have to think he's going to be recognized when the all conference teams come out later today. And as always, a big thank you to the viewers at home, wherever you're watching from, internationally, nationally, or even here in the stands with your cell phone. We're very happy to be able to bring you this live lacrosse action. Happy to be here broadcasting these games, and we wouldn't be here without you. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all of your interaction. We really appreciate it. Makes the broadcast more fun for us, and I hope it makes it more fun for you. I'm here with Samir Chaudhry. I'm Chris Marshall. As always, special thanks to Ted Bendrick and TVX Video, and everyone back in the lab making this broadcast happen. I'm Chris Marshall. Stay tuned for more great things from Lacrosse Network, and stay laxy.